Welcome to the On Your Side podcast. I'm Gary Harper.
And I'm Susan Campbell. The cost of just about everything is up thanks to sky-high inflation. But there's one thing that's proving to be maybe a little bit inflation-proof this holiday season.
Yep, turns out holiday decor is already being deeply discounted. So today we're talking to Chris Butler. He's the CEO of National Tree Company. He's walking us through what retailers are experiencing with excess inventory and increasing storage costs.
We'll also talk about the trends and Christmas tree sales.
This is On Your Side with Susan Campbell and Gary Harper, an Arizona's Family Originals podcast.
Okay, welcome to the On Your Side podcast. I'm Gary Harper.
And I'm Susan Campbell.
Hello, Susan.
Good morning.
How's it going?
Pretty good. Pretty great. Hello.
That was good. That was half great, half good.
I'll decide what I am after this podcast.
Well, even if you're good, that's okay. Tongue twister, that's okay.
Oh, gosh. We're in for it.
Listen, we're already in November. Before you know it, it's going to be Thanksgiving. Are you ready for all this? I think I am.
I'm getting there. I have started my holiday shopping. I wanted to get an early start, and I'm shopping the sales, and I'm picking things up here and there, and I feel like I'm spreading it out enough that I'm going to be able to manage. I was in the store the other day. I don't decorate early for Christmas. I always wait until after Thanksgiving. It's one of my favorite days of the year, the day after I put all the holiday decorations up, but I do respect that Thanksgiving is its own day.
Right.
There was a mad rush of people buying holiday decor in this store. I'm not going to name the store, but oh my goodness.
Yeah, it's a major retail chain that you and I talked about earlier. You're right.
Elbow to elbow, people were piling their carts up high. And I was thinking, inflation, what? I don't see it happening here in this store, right?
Yeah.
Like, nobody's pinching pennies.
And this is already, it's not even Thanksgiving, and people are piling Christmas stuff into their carts. So,
and a couple of my neighbors are putting up their Christmas decorations already.
Well, don't we always say it gets earlier and earlier every year?
It feels like it a little bit.
So I'm in Costco warehouse the other day, and they are loaded with Christmas stuff. And like you said, people are just gobbling it all up. I think everyone is just ready, maybe. Or maybe they're just so groomed with the higher prices that when they see these Christmas items that are not as high as they expected, they're like gobbling them up. Who knows?
Yeah, we have an expert who is in this retail space and can kind of shed some light for us a little bit.
Chris Butler, CEO of National Tree, one of the biggest leaders in artificial Christmas trees and holiday decor. How are you today, Chris?
I'm great, thanks, guys. How's it going with you?
We're doing well, and you're up in New Jersey. That's where you guys are based out of.
Yes, that's right.
Wow, so you guys make some of the, I guess, one of the more crisp artificial trees, right?
Yes, so we've been in business for over 60 years, actually. So started by a family in New Jersey here, and been in business for over 60 years and going strong today. And yeah, we're the leading artificial Christmas tree / decor company in North America, so specifically online. So we sell a lot of our products on Wayfair, Amazon, Home Depot, Lowe's, etc. So you'll see us everywhere. If you go to those sites, you'll see our name everywhere on those listings. Yeah, so it's a great company, it's a great space, and looking forward to having a great conversation with you guys.
So our listeners can't see your Zoom setup, but I have to describe it for them a little bit. You have probably a dozen trees behind you right now, all lit up. It's a beautiful look. Give me the idea of what kind of inventory you have and what people are gravitating toward this season in particular.
Sure. So this is our showroom, and we probably have 60 to 70 different trees in our showroom. So it's a great place to come and view all of these trees. But what we're seeing this year is again, to give a little context for last year, obviously these COVID ripples, right? These COVID ripples continue to infect everything that happened. So last year, obviously there was huge supply chain issues. No one could get anything they needed from China, huge consumer demand. And so last Christmas it was get in early, buy now, because the store's shelves will be empty. It'll be kind of an Oliver Twist kind of situation. And so what happened was all of those trees that were sitting in China were then delivered in November, December, January, February, which as a Christmas tree company, that's not the best time to receive your goods, and so, we were part of that as well. So we ended up sitting on a lot of inventory coming into this season. So, we're very excited. We've got a lot of inventory. We're going to be doing a lot of promotions. We already are doing a lot of promotions across all of our partner sites. And I think typically Christmas is one of those holidays that isn't as badly affected as other discretionary areas. We're definitely seeing discretionary spending down, obviously, across the board. I think Christmas, even though despite your experience, Christmas is being affected a little bit, but not too much. But this year last year was the year of scarcity. This year will be the year of promotions.
Promotions because you have a surplus of trees. Do you have just a lot more trees this season because of last year's supply chain demand? What's your inventory like compared to the past?
Yeah, so inventory is probably about the same. It's maybe a little bit higher, but because consumer demand, I think, is slowing down a little bit. You talked about inflation before and things. Consumer demand's definitely slowing down overall. So, we want to make sure that we move through our inventory. And you read about it throughout the year, right? Target taking huge inventory markdowns, Walmart doing the same thing. So a lot of these guys, a lot of retailers are doing the same thing. So we're definitely going to be aggressive and active. And look, if you go to Amazon today, if you go to Target today, if you go to, Home Depot today, it's Macy's, doing some amazing sales online right now. So every single retailer is also pushing very, very hard on their promotions as well. So, this year I would say is definitely the year of promotion. It's probably the best year to buy Christmas tree artificial decor, just purely because you should be able to get some screaming deals. So, and you were talking about Thanksgiving and putting up your tree after your favorite day of the year is the day after Thanksgiving. My least favorite day of the year is the day after Thanksgiving, because that's our busiest day. So we have to make sure that we're getting all of our products out. I'm on the warehouse floor delivering boxes and things. But no, it is our favorite day of the year as well, because that's really the absolute peak of our sales cycle is kind of the middle of November through middle of December. But yeah, the peak of that is really that Black Friday. So while you're sipping your hot cocoa and putting up your decorations, we'll be in the warehouse delivering trees to Americans across the country.
I'll think of you and I'll say a little cheers. So are these promotions happening earlier? I mean, would you typically have a promotion going on in mid-November, or is this kind of unusual for you?
No, we typically have promotions, but certainly this year they started earlier. I mean, I think Amazon tried to kick that off with their early Prime Day, early deal days. Again, they were looking to clear out some inventory, and they kind of did a good job of doing that. And so I think they already kicked it off just before Halloween. And so now it's a promotion palooza if you go to all of these sites right now.
Hey, are people really excited about buying for the holiday season? It seems like it, because Susan mentioned earlier, one retail store she was in, I mean, they're already gobbling stuff up. The wholesale, not wholesale, but the warehouse club that I was in, same thing. Why are so many people buying Christmas decor so early this year?
I think it's the promotions. I think that the promotions I think a lot of retailers and a lot of in-store retailers have put up their sets earlier than ever. I mean, it's funny, you go into a CVS or you go into a Walmart or something, and, the day after Halloween, up go the Christmas trees and up go the Christmas decor. And it happens earlier and earlier every year. And I think because of the inventory, these stores are putting them up, and they're doing a great job of generating excitement. So, yeah, I think that retailers are putting things up early. The club stores always put up inventory early. That's their model. But typically, I think this year we're definitely seeing earlier and earlier just retailers trying to get through their inventories to make sure that they're not left holding the bag or the tree at the end of the season.
Give us a peek inside just your warehouse situation. I know a lot of companies have tried to scramble to come up with extra warehouse space because they weren't ready to offload product maybe at such a deep discount. But then that warehouse space, real estate space, is becoming more expensive too. How did you navigate that? And kind of give me also maybe a little bit more of the broad perspective just from the business world.
No, it's a great question. So for us, and then I'll back it out to the macro situation. So for us as a company, again, most of what we do is online, and so we deliver across the country. So, in the past, up until this year, we've used our own warehouse space, which has been mainly on the East Coast. We've got about 600,000 square foot on the East Coast of warehouse space. And then we use 3PL, so kind of outsourced our warehousing business across the country. That's not the best thing to do for a Christmas company, because we don't really sell a lot of goods, throughout the rest of the year. And so those goods are either sitting there and we're paying rent on them for nothing, or we have to ship them back, which is obviously a terrible, terrible thing to do. So we got out of that business this year and we opened up a West Coast warehouse. So for us, this year has been a great year in terms of our warehouse strategy on domestic logistics. And so we're going to do very well with that. We're also able, because you said that warehouses are premium today, we're able to sublease some of our space when we're not using it during the season. So that actually kind of works out pretty well. But yes, in general, I think a lot of things have happened, right? So a lot of companies, maybe Amazon and some of these other direct-to-consumer companies, a Peloton, for example, bought a lot of warehouse space right during and after the pandemic. And so those companies are now struggling to offload some of that space, whereas other companies who didn't have that are now looking for incremental space, to your point, because they're just being overrun with inventory. So you have these two dynamics, but I can tell you warehouse rents continue to rise. We were able to get a pretty good deal on the West Coast, but certainly, versus a year ago, the prices were way higher per square foot. So, there's just, again, these ripples continue to impact the business, impact the economy in very strange ways that people weren't expecting. And you have these massive pendulum swings. I think in general, the pendulum doesn't swing as much. I think COVID has just set off this pendulum. Keep doing that in my hand, but this pendulum. And so I think we're going to continue to see that for the foreseeable future.
I have a question. How have these artificial trees improved over the last couple of years? And I'll give you an example. Growing up in Chicago as a kid, I've always had, or growing up, we've always had artificial trees. And I remember back in Chicago, it was like one branch at a time. You'd stick it in a hole. Yeah. The next branch, stick it in a hole. It would literally take 3 hours to put this tree together. And that's not even counting the lights and the tinsel. And then not long ago, everything seemed to be coming in a box where everything just kind of folds up. And now we have the fold up and the lights are already on, which saves a whole lot of time. What is new with artificial trees this year? What can we expect that we haven't seen before?
Yeah, so I'll give you some fast facts about trees and artificial trees. So 110 million households in the US, roughly 80% of those households celebrate Christmas with a tree. About 80% of those people celebrate with an artificial tree. So it's a huge market. Roughly every 5 to 6 years, consumers replace that tree. And so they're getting a new tree. And there's about 1.2 trees per household. When you smash all those numbers together into the calculator, it gives you about 15 to 20 million trees are bought every single year. So it's a huge market. And to your point, it's changed a lot over the years. When I told my parents that I got a job at this company, leading the company, my mom proudly told me they still have the same, coat hanger with tinsel glued to it from 20 years ago, and so some people don't replace them every 5 years, but we'll try and work on her with that. But
I hope you got her a nice one after you got the job.
They probably wouldn't accept it, but we're working on it, believe me. But yeah, to your point of building the tree yourself, it's funny, we've been talking with a factory in South America. Most of what we do today is from China, and this factory in South America, in Colombia, in Colombia, that's what they do. All of the tree, they put the branches on themselves, and that is what they told us is it's family time and it's a tradition. And in my mind, I was thinking, the second we show you a hinge tree, that family time will go out the window, because it's a lot of work. But yeah, so hinges, obviously, I think the materials that are made on the trees today are kind of much more a better quality. You have kind of different types of plastics. You have PE, which is the molded plastic, which is much more of a feel real technology, which is what we use, as well as then the PVC, which is a little bit more like the tinsel product. And then of course you have the lights, and the lights have gone from these big incandescent, energy sucking, power hungry lights that one bulb goes out, the whole tree goes out. Now you have LED. And these cosmic lights as well. If one bulb goes out, it's irrelevant. The power keeps going through all of the lights. So the lights, the functionality, the cost has continued to come down over time. And then you have flocked trees, right? So you have trees that look like they have snow on them, which is the one. That's what I have. I put out a tree yesterday, much to my daughter's chagrin. She was like, "It's not even Thanksgiving yet," and I'm like, "Putting up the tree." I work for a Christmas tree company. We're putting up the tree. So you have those things, and then look, in the future, I think you'll start to think about linking lights to Alexa, linking lights to Google Home. It's a bit of a fad, I think, but ultimately, as more and more people use home controls to control their regular lights, their TVs, etc., the tree will be just hopefully seamlessly linked into that. So that's the kind of thing that we're working on as well. And then music. So, we have some trees today that Bluetooth link to the music that will kind of do the lights and the design, and will move and dance basically to the sound of the music. So there's those types of technologies as well.
It's like Home Alone.
That's pretty cool.
That's right.
I have to tell you, our family growing up was always a real tree family.
Yeah.
Until one year, we went away the day after Christmas to go visit my grandparents. We came back 5 days later, and there had been, without us knowing, a nest of spiders that hatched.
Oh.
It was in the tree. We found dead spiders throughout our entire house for like a week. And my mom was like, "We are never doing this again." Fake tree it is.
Oh my gosh. That gives me
I know,
man.
And look,
it was awful.
Exactly. And look, there's definitely the hardcore natural tree lovers, and we love those people as well, but I will tell you, one of the complaints or one of the things that we hear from consumers about artificial trees, there's no smell. There's no scent of that, because at the end of those things smell great, right? It's the Christmas smell. It makes you feel good. So funnily enough, we went and bought a company this year. We just acquired a company called Sensicles. And what Sensicles is, it's a little stick that you hang to your tree, and it's a paper stick, and it gives off scent over the 30 days between when you put your tree up and, when you take your tree down. And it smells truly like Christmas again. So we just did that. They're really the only company that do this with this technology. Is quite remarkable. So we thought, being the leading tree company and buying the leading scent company was a good decision. So there's now a solution for that as well.
The real tree tradition, I think it's all about, parents going out with their kids or child, and, personally picking out a tree, putting it on top of the roof, tying it down. I think there's something about that, right? And
well, it kind of feels like a Hallmark movie a little bit.
Right.
That's
And
right.
then when you get home, you do have that smell. But like you said, you're ahead of the game with buying this aroma type company to give out maybe the pine smell or something. That's
exactly. We have many different scents: pine, winter fir, berries, so a lot of different scents. And again, to your point, there's definitely that tradition of, I'll tell you, there's the tradition of putting on the thing, tying it down, bringing it in. There's also the tradition of then screaming at the kids because they forgot to water the tree.
Oh, yes.
And now the tree's dying on, 3 days after Thanksgiving. There's also the tradition of dragging the tree out and leaving a trail of needles to your door, So there's those traditions as well, which people remember too fondly too.
Can you tell this guy is in the artificial tree business?
I can tell, yeah. We've got a good sales.
It was like denigrating the real trees. I didn't
he
do
quickly
got a good
turned that
sales
around.
pitch. Yeah.
Hey, what's the average cost for an artificial tree? What can a family expect to spend?
Yeah, I would say a tree. Look, you can spend $100 or less on a 7-foot tree. Typically, the size is between 6.5 to 7.5 feet. That's the most popular size, given obviously most people's ceiling height. So you can absolutely buy a tree less than $100 for a 6-foot, 7-foot tree. The quality is obviously not going to be that great, but still a tree, right? And typically, the quality starts to get to a point between the 250 to 300. So anywhere below 200. You're getting an okay tree. When you start to go above 200 to that 300, you're then starting to get some of the feel real, some more lights, a little bit more fuller branches that just look more like a real tree. Above 300 to 500 is when you're really in kind of the sweet spot of really good looking trees and really good quality. So a family, can definitely buy a tree for less than $200 and have a very nice looking tree with lights, functionality and things today. So yeah, there's a wide range of prices.
Hey, Chris, I'm sorry I stepped on you.
No.
Chris, can you just start making or manufacturing a tree where it's just like take out of the box and there you go. We want ornaments on there. We want tinsel. We want lights.
Yes.
We just want to like put it up and plug it in.
No, we don't. Scrooge over here.
Huh? Yes, it's quick. It's
Where's
easy.
your Chicago family tradition? I thought you loved putting those branches in.
I didn't say I loved it. In fact, it was painstaking. I mean, goodness gracious. Hey, listen, for a one-stop shop, pull out of the box, you could probably get $600. People would be willing to.
But don't those ornaments mean a lot to you? Every single one you put on, you
I know.
think of the memory that goes along
That's
with
right.
it.
I do have ornaments from my childhood and my kids who are now grown adults. We still have those that we put up too.
Oh, you have to give them their box of ornaments. They need them in their own house.
Well, we're going to hang on to those until until they have their own family.
Okay.
Right?
There you go.
We also have
It keeps them coming back. Keeps them
exactly.
coming back to your house.
we also have a kitchen Christmas tree. It's 3 foot, just stands on the counter, but all the ornaments and everything are kitchen related.
I love that.
Right?
That's
Like we
super
got like
fun.
little blenders. We got Budweiser cans on
Super
there.
cute.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
I
Yeah.
love that.
Utensils, spoons, plates. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
So I want to ask a quick question that I think maybe a lot of our listeners might want to know. So you're talking about all these deals and promotions happening earlier and earlier, and Black Friday being your kind of biggest, busiest day. If we wait until after the holiday, are we going to get even better deals? I mean, are the discounts going to be so incredibly deep this year that we're all going to want a brand new tree after Christmas?
There'll definitely be deep deals after Christmas, for sure. Yeah, definitely. With the typical sites, I'll tell you, Macy's does a phenomenal job with post-Christmas deals. Kohl's, some of these kind of department type stores do a really good job with the post-Christmas sales. So yeah, absolutely. If you're in it to win it for the long term, you may get some good deals post-Christmas. But if you want it for this year, anytime between now, Black Friday, post-Black Friday, I mean, is going to be a great time to buy. And again, I take a look at a couple of sites and see the deals that are happening, because retailers obviously kind of pace out these deals. So yeah, for sure, there's going to be deals everywhere.
A little bit inflation. I mean, this is holiday decor is like a little bit inflation proof compared to some of the other things we're seeing. That sounds like what I'm hearing.
I would say last year was where the inflation took hold, because for the most part, we all had to bring our containers from China, and a container that cost us $3,000 the year prior last year cost $25,000. So that's inflation for you right there. So a lot of those cost increases happened last year. This year, far less. So there's a little bit of inflation, but I think most of that inflation will be spent back with these promotions. So definitely, this is a great year to buy a tree.
Not to confuse everybody, but with the surplus that we had last year and the surplus that you had on your hands, is that causing prices to maybe kind of go down for this season? Because you did have a surplus. All those trees and everything you were expecting to come in didn't get in until January, so you're stuck with last year's trees.
Correct, but at the higher price. So there's definitely, but we're gonna use promotions to bring those prices down for sure. So there'll definitely be some good deals out there.
All right, Chris. Listen, really, I'm in the holiday mood now. I think we're actually putting our tree up this weekend. Just to really
Are you?
Yeah, I mean, why putting up? Just get like 3 weeks out of it when you can get like it takes all that time.
But Thanksgiving needs its own own day.
Its own day to kind of breathe. Right?
We're going to agree to disagree on this one. I know I'm in the minority here on this. You want to put it up. Your tree's already up.
Yes. I'm the guy that wants the tree straight out of the box. Boom. But we'll get there one of these days. I just gave Chris an idea. He's going to be selling like $600 trees next season.
I've already talked to my developers. So.
I want that patented, and I want a finder's fee on that. Hey, Chris, tell us a little bit more, like if people want to find out more about your company, website, social media platforms.
Yeah, so nationaltree.com for sure. And then we have an Instagram as well, National Tree Company. So people should look at that. And then look, like I said, go to the main sites, Amazon, Wayfair, Macy's, Home Depot, Lowe's, etc. We're at Kohl's. We're across the board. You'll see our name because, again, when you go to the first page after you type in Christmas tree, we're pretty much the first 10 items. So you'll start to get a feel for our trees. Yeah.
Okay, great. Hey, listen, Chris, nice talking to you. Enjoy New Jersey up there and the weather. What is the weather up there?
Today it's actually not bad. It's 60 degrees. So we're having, which is not helping Christmas tree sales. When it's 60 degrees in the Northeast and you're running around in shorts and t-shirt, you're not thinking about Christmas. So,
you need some snow to get some people in the mood up there.
Yeah, I hate the snow. I'm going to be moving down to where you guys are hopefully soon. So,
and by the way, on Black Friday, I don't want to hear any sympathy like, oh, we're going to be working, boo-hoo. Your wallet is going to be getting fat, real fat. So I don't want to hear any complaining.
That's the plan. Enjoy your hot cocoa. I'll be enjoying the sales.
Exactly. All right, listen, have a great day. Thanks for being on the On Your Side podcast.
Thanks so much, guys. Great meeting you.
The On Your Side podcast is produced by Brad Denny. Our audio engineer and editor is Todd Martin. Segment producer is Colin Stanton. And I'm Gary Harper.
And I'm Susan Campbell. If you have a problem you can't resolve, maybe we can. Send us a message through azfamily.com or our AZ Family mobile app. Look for the On Your Side section and leave us a message. Thanks so much for listening to the On Your Side podcast. And if you like it, leave us a review. We'll see you next week.
On Your Side is on Good Morning Arizona every weekday morning at 6:45 and 7 o'clock, and every weekday evening on Good Evening Arizona at 4 and 5 o'clock. You can also catch it on Arizona's Family News at 9 on 3TV every weeknight.